Hey, Coach. Just one of those nights, sort of like NC State. They were shooting the lights out. What do you kind of take away from this one most? Or is this one of those games where, you just kind of throw it away?
No, you definitely can't throw it away. I mean, I thought Pittsburgh was good. They made some threes. They did some good stuff. But we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds. I thought our poise wasn't at the level it needed to be. They had a really good game plan to be physical, with our bigs. And mentally early in the game, I thought they were physical. They hit them. They hit our bigs at the rim. We couldn't finish at the level we needed to finish with their length. But it just kind of got us out of our game. We started focus on things we couldn't control. And, I thought it took us away from the things we should have been focused on, which is executing and taking care of the ball, sprinting back, making sure we take care of getting our defense set. But with the lack of poise, a few times we didn't execute. They made us pay every time in transition. They're a very experienced team. They've been shooting it well all year. And so the worst thing you can do is give them opportunities to run and play in the open court. So I don't think we did a good job of controlling tempo. And we played their game, but they had 77 points. There's a lot of correctable things where we could have had that game in the 60s, and it could have been a completely different game.
Saurabh?
So Makai and Post have obviously been a pretty strong scoring duo every time they've been on the court together this season. So it felt like for the first time this season, Pitt kind of kept them contained the whole game. What went into that defensive performance from them?
I thought Makai, early in the game, he had to sit out. He had 2 fouls with 16 minutes in the game. The first foul, I felt like it was a charge. I had to go back and watch the film. I thought he took a charge, but it was a block. That's a 50-50 call. No big deal. The referee's got to make a tough call. And then he had a second foul at 16 minutes. So he sat, maybe 10 to 12 minutes with his second foul, and I put him back in. I played him with 2 fouls. He came back and gave us a lift. But got the third foul pretty quick in the second half.
Kevin?
Coach, at one point in the second half, you guys were 0 for 13. It lasted about 7 minutes. Is that just one of those things where, once one or two guys misses, it just kind of snowballs?
I mean, I think it's a combination. It's a combination of good players missing shots on the road / we took the wrong shot. You got to know. We got to know why we've been successful when we won. And we got to be okay with moving the ball and grinding and giving a defense a chance to break down so you can get a good rhythm 3. I thought some of those shots we took weren't necessarily in rhythm, but that goes back to the poise. It's loud. Team going a little bit of a run, you down 10, and you take a shot. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them were early. And then some of it was, Pittsburgh doing a good job defending like they've been doing all year. So it's a combination of all that stuff.
Saurabh?
Blake Henson, 21 points. What were some of the challenges he posed for you guys defensively?
Well, he's a 6-year guy. He's 6'8", 255 pounds, and he made 6 threes tonight. So, really good player. Tough matchup. He can play inside, he can play outside. But the biggest thing is he shot the ball really well. I think he made 6 threes. So that's enough in itself without talking about any other part of his game. Just his ability to stretch the floor and make those shots.
Saurabh?
And that 21-4 run, like we were talking about earlier, what broke down for you guys there, both defensively and offensively?
Well, like I said, typically your defense is going to break down if it keeps getting back. Like if we kept getting back on defense quick, we allow the pace of the game. On the road, you have to control the fans. You have to do a good job of making sure you can keep them out of the game. But in that stretch of the 21 minutes, we missed a couple shots at the rim where they blocked it. And I think they were 4 for 5 from 3 in that stretch. So it was a combination of us, not finishing at the rim, them doing a great job of protecting with their length. Again, I use the word poise, a couple execution situations where we played like a young team. We wasn't very mature. And, just trying to get our team to understand that you got to execute and you got to be poised and you got to, slow it down some, control the pace, especially on the road. But, they did a good job of getting us in that situation and they capitalized and made their threes. They were 4 for 5 in that stretch.
All right, so our last one.
Yeah, in that 11-0 run the U.S. went on in the first half, there was a little bit of experimenting with the lineup. Was that more like a thing with Makai being on the bench for the foul trouble, or is that something you see going forward, with Chaz, TJ, McLaughlin, CJ in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had CJ, we had TJ, Devin, Prince, Chaz, and Mason. And so typically we don't have that lineup in the game, but circumstances, caused us to have that lineup in the game tonight. They did a good job making a run. They actually, that group was actually pretty poised in that segment. And maybe I should have gave those guys a few more minutes because of that poise, but they did a good job, in the first half. It was a 4-point game with 2 minutes to get into the locker room. And I think we were down 6 at half. And so we're down 8 at half. So they beat us 8 in the first half, beat us 10 in the second half. But again, if you look at the 8 they beat us in the first half, there's a handful of things that we could take back and learn from that film where we could be better. And the same thing in the second half. So, give them credit. They did what they needed to do. They shot the ball well. We just got to, get back, watch the film, get back to the drawing board and try to, make some corrections on the things that we saw that we did poorly today and be ready for our next game on Saturday.
Great. Thanks, everyone.